Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League for our Sunday Championship. I'm with the League 3 drivers, and we are still in Brazil at Sao Paulo at Interlagos. 2.67 miles, 15 turns ahead of us, and we've just had an absolute cracking first race, which saw Harry Poppins take the win. We're on to now race 2, another 16 laps ahead of us, and it looks like we've got a reverse grid, so this could throw up all sorts of shenanigans. There will be a mandatory pit stop as well, and I'm not sure if it's softs and mediums or mediums and hard tyres, but we'll see in a minute. But there is a mandatory pit stop, so that is always interesting. So let's change the camera angle and we'll have a quick look down the grid. So out on pole then is Pete. DB is second, Mulpe's third, Phaser is fourth, Aussie Rooster is fifth on the grid, Thingamajig is sixth, Scott is seventh, Enzo Jack is eighth, Bazza ninth, Frowny 10th, and winner of race 1, Harry Poppins, finds himself all the way at the back in P11. So back up to the top, get the right camera, and we'll get this race underway, shall we, nice and early. As Pete takes us towards the start-finish line, we'll listen out for the klaxon. And we are away. So it looks like it is racing mediums and hard. So it is mediums and hard tyres to be used as we go towards turn 1 and into the Senna S's for the first time. We'll just see everybody get through. Yeah, everybody's got through there onto the Rita Aposta, which is the long straight before they get to turn 4. So everybody's still going. Harry Poppins still at the back. Now we're going to have a rundown of the tyres because, as I've mentioned, it is a mandatory pit stop. I don't think there's a pit window, so the guys can pit whenever they like, but they do have to do a minimum of 2 laps on each of the tyre compounds. So back up to the top then, Peter, this time opening up a bit of a gap already, back to his teammate Aussie Rooster. Now, that again, this may be a tactic. Aussie may have said, look, you try and get away, and I'll hold everybody else up. Pete on the mediums, Aussie also on the medium tyres, Phaser mediums, DB on the hards, Scott just gone by, he's on the medium tyres, so he would have got by DB. DB, oh, I'm just sorry, I'm a bit confused there. DB got picked up a penalty, and he's just about to serve it because it is just on the exit of turn 12. You can see there, brake slammed on, car slowed down, and as I mentioned in race 1, you do end up losing about a second of time, and you can see DB dropping down the order now, very soon to be down to 11th, so that's an unlucky start for DB. On the hard tyres as well. So a bit of a mixture so far then of hards and mediums. Up at the top though, on the medium tyres, Pete and Aussie Rooster trying to run away now from the rest of the pack. They will, I'm sure, run those mediums until they fall off the car or they run out of fuel. The guys on the hard tyres will have more of a strategy, I think. They will know what laps they want to pit at and how long the medium tyres will last. But the medium tyre runner guys, I'm sure they'll just run them until they, like I say, they just shred. He looks like he's coming under a bit of pressure from his teammate there, which is not what he needs really. You don't need to be battling with your teammate, because all that does is allow everybody behind you to catch up. And you can see that's exactly what's happened. Scott and Phaser and Thingamajig have all caught up with the front two, who were having a bit of a battle. Now, it may be that there are no team orders, and they've just been told to go out there and just race. They may have even had a fallout, who knows? They might not like each other. Maybe this bitter rivalry going on in the garage, but we shall see. But it looks like Peter's actually moved over there to let Aussie Rooster through. Aussie Rooster takes the inside line, around turn 13, and he goes through into P1. Pete now in P2, but they are forming a bit of a rolling roadblock as they come up to turn 1. Scott sitting there in third. We've got somebody in the pits already. I think it was Frowney that just flashed up. So Frowney on the hard tyres decides he's going to get rid of them early. As we just follow these front three, Scott in P3, he's looking at making a move on Pete. Pete obviously he's going to try and hold the guys up as much as he can to allow his teammate to get away. Scott trying to go around the outside of Pete, not quite close enough though. Thingamajig there moved up to 4th. He's having a good race so far. He's got Phaser alongside of him. Now they did have a coming together, if you remember, in race 1 at turn 12, and I'm sure they do not want a repeat of that. But Phaser pushing hard to get into P4. Phaser on the mediums, Thingamajig also on the mediums. So all the front 5 are on medium tyres. Same as Bazza in P6. Enzo, Jack, Molepiece. So Molepiece is the highest position on the hard tyres at the minute, and he's in 8th. So we'll just go back up and have a look and see what's happening with Thingamajig, Phaser and Bazza as they go around turn 12. All still lined up. Now it's a case of trying to slipstream, but nobody's really going to gain an advantage here because they're all picking up a slipstream from the guy in front. So no real advantage to be had at the minute. They're just not spread out far enough, are they? Up towards turn 1 we go. Bazza having a look at the inside of Phaser as they get into turn 1. He gets that move done as well. Fantastic late braking from Bazza to take P5 away from Phaser. Molepiece is into the pit. DB is into the pit. So they've had enough of the hard tyres. Harry Poppins, he's in 10th at the minute, but with the guys in the pits he should move up a little bit. Let's have a look. I'm not quite sure how long the pit stop is, but well, you can just see now as I think it's Molepiece. Yes, Molepiece is just on his way out of the pit. Harry Poppins goes through, Frowney goes through. We can just see them on the right hand side there. So as Molepiece enters the track in P10, DB will follow him out in P11. No traffic behind him, but those guys have made a stop from them, so everybody in front has still got to make their stop. Aussie Rooster then out in front at the minute and trying to pull a bit of a gap. Scott has made his way up into P2 with Thingamajig in 3rd. So what has happened to Peter? Well, Peter's been mugged a little bit, hasn't he? He was, I think he was in P2, wasn't he, at one point? But now we've got Scott in P2. Thingamajig 3rd, and it looks like Thingamajig is actually gaining. So let's go on board with Thingamajig. Thingamajig not interested in trying to get in behind Scott, sticking to his racing line. Scott went defensive and took the inside line, but has had to come back out again to make this corner. Thingamajig wasn't really interested and just stayed on his racing line. And if we have a look in the rear view mirror, we can just see Bazza chasing us down. So on the retro apostle we go down towards turn 4 and 5. Hard on the brakes to make this double left-hander. Trying not to go too far to the right. Thingamajig made it look easy. Keeping off of those curbs on that turn 5, and now we enter the tricky section of this Interlagos track into turn 8 we go. Let's have a look behind us. Bazza getting ever closer up to the hairpin and turn 10, hard on the brakes, down through the gears. Thingamajig choosing 2nd, comes out in 3rd. Roll it around this left-hander up to turn 12. and then back on the power as early as we can, and it is flat out now on the noisy pedal all the way through turns 13, 14, up towards turn 15 where the pit entry is, and then we're on to the straight. We'll just have a look to see what kind of speeds we're looking at in this Suzuki Swift. We're getting about 139, 140 miles an hour before we have to get back on the brakes again to turn 1, so pretty quick, these little cars. So that was half a lap or so with Thingamajig. Aussie Rooster still out in front, and with Scott chasing, Thingamajig in third, Bazza closing in on Thingamajig in fourth. So Thingamajig now going to have to start thinking about defending his position as Bazza decides he's going to get tucked right underneath Thingamajig, have a good sniff at the rear end of that Suzuki. Pete in fifth, he's leading this little group of three. He's got Enzo, Jack and Fazer with him. As Enzo Jack has a bit of a look up the inside, Fazer is trying to follow Enzo Jack through. Pete having to go a little bit wider than I think he wanted to, and Enzo Jack goes through. Pete drops into sixth. Now Fazer is going to have a look as well around the hairpin. A good exit's what you need, and well, it looks like Pete did okay there. Fazer still chasing him down up to turn 12. Don't try anything there, Fazer. You don't want another coming off, and he doesn't. And now it is foot down as Fazer tucks right underneath the rear wing of Pete, and we're on to the start-finish straight again. Are any of them going to decide to pit? I don't think they will, because they're on the medium tyres. Enzo Jack just starting to creep away from these two, but while these two battle, then obviously Enzo Jack is going to be allowed to get away. So back up to the top. Oh, and Scott has got the lead. Scott has managed to take over from Aussie. Let's go back and see if we can find out where that happened. Well, no. We've had to go back quite a long way, so well done to Scott. Apologies we missed it, but Scott is now up to P1 and leading this race. Aussie Rooster in second with Thingamajig in third. Bazza still in fourth. Still desperately looking for a way past Thingamajig and getting himself up onto the podium. We are only at lap 7, so we're just coming up to the halfway mark of this race. Some of the guys on the harder tyres have already pitted, so the guys on the mediums, they have got to do a minimum of 2 laps. So they will be starting to think about it as we see Thingamajig and Aussie Rooster getting a bit touchy-feely there through this tricky section, and Bazza has managed to steal a position away from Thingamajig. As Thingamajig made the move on Aussie Rooster, it all got a little bit messy, and Bazza took full advantage and moves up into P3, and is now looking at the back of Aussie Rooster's Suzuki and thinking about taking P2 away from him. Onto the straight, Bazza pulls to the inside. Aussie Rooster is just going to have to stick to the normal racing line as Bazza goes up the inside and moves up into P2. Aussie Rooster slots in behind him. We're on board with Aussie Rooster. We've got Thingamajig behind us. Bazza making his intentions very clear. He's going to stay on that racing line on the inside and defend this turn, and he does. Aussie can't quite get by. Is he looking at the cutback? No, he's not going to get it done. Great racing from Bazza there. Really defended that corner well. So Aussie now with it all to do again. He needs to get the move done pretty early on, because once you start hitting that tricky S section of the track, then there is well, little or no opportunity for overtaking. So Aussie Rooster having a look as Bazza goes a bit too deep into turn 4 and 5. Aussie Rooster, well, he didn't need asking twice, did he? And straight through he went, back up into P2. And we were just saying about getting the move done before they get into this tricky section, and that's exactly what's happened. Aussie Rooster gets his nose in front of Bazza, so he can defend him through these turns. It is just going to be at turn 1. He's got to be careful, but Aussie Rooster, well, definitely in the driving seat, as Bazza has a bit of a look up the inside of him, but Ozzy closes the door on him very, very quickly. I think he's learnt his lesson as Ozzy. Into turn 12 then. Practically stuck together, these two. And it's great racing from Bazza actually, because it's in the dirty air that Aussie Rooster is creating. Thingamajig just sitting there as well, just behind in fourth. And now it's Aussie Rooster's turn to go defensive. Is he going to hold on to that inside line? I think he is. Now drifts out to make the turn. And Bazza, well, nothing he can do about it at the minute. If he can get close enough on the exit of turn 3, he might be able to make a move going into turn 4 and 5. This is where Aussie Rooster made his move on the previous lap to get himself into P2. Bazza just went a little bit too deep. Now then, was there a bit of a touch there? As they are now side by side, Bazza has got himself on the inside, but as we come up to turn 8, it's Aussie Rooster on the inside. And Thingamajig is following Aussie Rooster around, so Thingamajig could be getting alongside Bazza now. It's, wow, what fantastic racing between these three, as Bazza seems to go a little bit deep, but manages to hold on to third. Thingamajig now all over him. Thingamajig fancies a spot on that podium, doesn't he? He's putting the pressure on. Bazza is trying his best to get past Aussie Rooster, but he's going to have to keep his eyes on the mirrors because Thingamajig is all over him. You can just see up ahead we've got Scott. So these three are catching up. They are catching up, and I think it's all going to be about the pit stop and who's going to pull the trigger first. To be fair, I don't think any of them really want to come in because this is a fantastic battle. We are on now lap 10. And it is a brilliant battle for P2 at the minute. Aussie Rooster and Bazza side by side again. Around turn 3. Bazza just having to slot it on Aussie, but Aussie, well, he's taking that defensive line again, isn't he? Or has he left a gap? He's left a gap, and Bazza has got himself in there. Bazza managed to position his car on the inside. Aussie just left a gap big enough for him, and Bazza has capitalised on that. But Scott, Aussie Rooster fighting back. I don't want to take my eyes off of these three. There are other cars on the track, we know that, but this is fantastic racing between these guys. And we really don't want to leave them. We're just going to follow them for another couple of corners, and then we will, I promise, have a look down the rest of the field. But brilliant racing between these three. Bazza at the minute got the advantage in P2. Aussie Rooster in third, with Thingamajig in fourth. Let's just have a quick look down the rest of the grid. Enzo Jack in fifth. Then we've got Phaser in 6th. Pete is 7th. He's carrying half a second, but he's on his own. He's not going to lose track position when he serves that penalty, but he's down in 7th. Harry Poppins is in 8th. Not really been able to make many positions up as Harry Poppins. Started at the back of the grid in 11th. He's got up to 8th, but we are on lap 10. And I do believe Harry Poppins has got a pit stop to make as well. So winner of race 1, well, I'm not so sure he's going to improve on that position. In race 2, then we've got Frowny down in 9th. Again, he was up there, I think, 2nd in race 1. Seems to be struggling this time around though. Molepiece in 10th with DB in 11th. Bit of a wobbly wheel on DB's car, it looks like. I think when he comes into the pits, I think he's already been in the pits actually. Maybe they haven't put one of the wheels back on properly. There is quite a wobble going on, the DB. So out in front at the minute is Scott, and he has got a bit of breathing space back to his teammate Bazza. Currently in second with Aussie Rooster and Thingamajig. These three have been fighting it out for well, most of this race actually, and they must be enjoying it. They must be enjoying it. I mean, it's great to watch, so it'll be a great race to be involved in. Pit stops will now start coming into mind. Remember, the guys have got to do a minimum of 2 laps on each compound, and all these guys started on the mediums, and they've got to go over onto the hard, so it'll be interesting to see who pulls into the pits first, whether they're all going to leave it till the last 2 laps, lap 14 and 15 and 16. We shall see, as Aussie Rooster having to defend against Thingamajig. Enzo, Jack and Fazer in 5th and 6th, and then there is quite a gap then back to Pete in 7th. Harry Poppins still in 8th. Oh, as Pete go, well, that looks like actually a good recovery from Pete. He just got his braking all wrong, didn't he, at turn 1, got on the grass, but managed to catch it and stop himself from going off any further. Lost the position to Harry Poppins, but that could have been a lot worse. And you can just see Frowley in the background, but well done to Pete actually. That's good car control. He could have carried on going onto the grass and been in all sorts of a mess. As it happens, he just lost 1 position to Harry Poppins, so yeah, as I say, could have been worse. Frowley in 9th with Molepiece 10th and DB still down in 11th. These 2 guys at the back, very spread out, not seen another car for a while, so I think that's pretty much race over for them. Up at the top though, Scott still looking very comfortable. He's commanding this race. Now he may be looking at the stats etc. in the top left. He may be waiting for somebody else to pit before he goes in. It's all going to get very tactical very quickly, as we're now on lap 13, so only 4 laps to go. Baz is still in second. Aussie Rooster, he occupies the 3rd step on the podium, but Thingamajig wants it, and Thingamajig is going to stick in there. He's just waiting for Aussie Rooster and Bowser to have a bit of a coming together, and Bowser and Aussie Rooster side by side. Let's see if we can get a different perspective of things. You can see there we are sort of following Bowser, and you can see Aussie Rooster is he's all over him. He's left and right looking for that opening that Bowser's just not giving him. Bowser is sticking on the inside curbs and not allowing Aussie Rooster through. If Aussie Rooster wants to make a move, then he's going to have to do something pretty special. He's going to have to go around the outside. I think Bowser's making that very clear, that he's defending every single one of these turns. Now this is the one you need a good exit out of there, turn 12. As you go up the hill onto the start-finish straight. Now Bowser knows that Aussie Rooster and Thingamajig are going to get in his slipstream. Now I thought he might have tried to defend that. Oh, as Aussie Rooster goes into the pits. Now Bowser is defending it a little bit, but now he's defending it from Thingamajig. So it's Aussie Rooster that's coming to the pits. He's going to try and get the undercut, I think. So Bowser and Thingamajig need a fantastic in-lap, because they're going to have to come in at the end of this lap. So they need a brilliant in-lap if they want to come out after their pit stop ahead of Aussie Rooster, who's now dropped down to P8. Enzo Jack in 4th. So we're going to see a bit of a flurry into the pits now. I'm sure of it, as there are only 2 laps left after this one. Scott has got to come in. You can see the front tyres. Well, they don't look too bad, to be honest, but he'll start to feel that. When you get to around about a 50% now, you will start to feel the car just slipping away from you in some of these tighter turns. But the battle still rages on for P2. Bazza currently holding that spot with Thingamajig pushing him all the way. And this is where we're going to see, I think Scott's got to come in, Bazza, Thingamajig, Enzo Jack, they've all got to come into the pits. So as they go through turns 12 through 13, you'll see the pit entry on the left, and that's where they're all sticking to the fuel lights flashing as well. So they're going to have to take on a little bit of fuel. So there we go. Scott's in. Bazza is in. Thingamajig, he is in. Enzo Jack, he's going to have to come in. Phaser, he's in. Harry Poppins already stopped. So Harry Poppins now. Or has he stopped? I can't remember now. I think he had. I thought Harry Poppins had started. Yes, he has. So Harry Poppins carries on through. Winner of race 1. On to the start finish straight up to turn 1. Now then, Scott is just about to come out of the pits. Harry Poppins moves up into second, but that means nothing until we get outside. There we go. Harry Poppins now has taken over the lead. Scott is just about to make his way back onto the track. And there we go. Harry Poppins has made the lead. Started in 11th and is now up to P1 and has got a bit of a gap back to Scott. So Scott in second. Frowny has moved up to third. He was second in race 1, so Frowny doing well. Then we've got Thingamajig and Aussie Rooster. So a bit of a swap over for Thingamajig and Bazza. So maybe Bazza took on a little bit more fuel than Thingamajig. But Thingamajig has moved up into 4th. Aussie Rooster is in 5th. And Bazza now in 6th. Those three were having a fantastic battle, and I'm sure it's going to carry on. We are on lap 15, so we've got the rest of this one and one more to go. Enzo Jack in 7th, Phaser is 8th, Molepiece, DB, and then Pete down in 11th. So Harry Poppins, well, he just seemed to come from nowhere. He was in P8, wasn't he? And everybody dived into the pits ahead of him, and he just shot straight through into the lead of this race. And well, we are on the final lap. Harry Poppins out in front, and he has got a bit of breathing space. Scott now out on the hard tyres, fuel light flashing. He's got enough though to make it to the end of the race. Frowny, he's on the medium tyres, so is Frowny going to be looking at trying to take P2 away from Scott? He is on the more worn medium tyres, but Scott is on the newer, a bit wide there for Frowny. That may well be a penalty actually, and I think you might, yeah, he's got a 1 second penalty, so he's basically just given P2 to Scott. I was going to say Scott is on the hard tyres, but they're not warmed up yet. There's not, it takes about 3 or 4 laps for the hard tyres to warm up. So back up to our current race leader, and soon to be winner actually, is Harry Poppins as he goes around the hairpin at turn 10 for the final time. Through turn 11, up towards turn 12 at Junk Out. And Harry Poppins will be looking at taking the checkered flag for the second time this evening. Some fantastic racing from him. He didn't really seem to be in this race, did he? And well, he came from nowhere to take this win. So well done to Harry Poppins. Win number 2 for him. Scott, he's going to take P2. Well done to him. Frowny managed to get by Thingamajig and into 3rd. Thingamajig is 4th. Aussie Rooster 5th. Bazza will take 6th. Enzo Jack 7th. Phaser is going to bring it home in 8th. Molepiece 9th. with DB in 10th and Pete 11th. Well, if you've enjoyed these races, then please remember to hit that like button. If you've not already subscribed, if you could do so, that really would help me out and I would appreciate it very much. I will catch you all later on in the week. We do have a couple of Wednesday races coming up, so I shall catch you all then. Thanks for watching. See you all soon.